I'm going to turn down that sound here for just a second. Welcome to Tomes of Isolation. Hello, and I am Roxanne Thompson, your host tonight. This is Quiett Gentleman Entertainment. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight is our, like I said, Tomes of Isolation. This is our show where we take one solo adventurer and we run them through a GM-less journey of whatever system we can find a solo adventure for. This week we are returning to Conspiracy of Mages solo adventure, created for the Dark Eye RPG from Ulisses Spiele. This is the Dark Eye, as we have mentioned on past episodes, is essentially Germany's answer to high fantasy, to the high fantasy role-playing styles of, say, Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. It's been around for decades. And it was recently, what, in 2017, 2016? Is that when it kind of made a
2017.
I think it was 2017 at Gen Con. They have the new, would be this edition that we have from Ulisses Spiele North America. It is a hefty core book, and it is a unique game system. In my opinion, it does use a D20. It is the normal D20, not the normal D20, but you are trying to surpass a number. However, a lot of times skill checks require 3 attributes as opposed to just the 1. It's got an extensive character sheet. Last week we did quite a bit, and I didn't have a printer, or I was not able to print out some things, but this week I was, so I have my character sheet printed out this time. I believe it's 6 pages. It's a hefty character sheet. And if you remember, or if you don't, I will happily remind you. Sorry, I'm trying to find. Okay, this is the front of my sheet. We were playing an per the venture, unnamed student of magic at the... Where's the name of this school? I was actually trying to think of it earlier, and I forgot to check. Let's see. Where is... Oh, Lohingen. Lohingen Magical Academy, or something of that name. I read it all to y'all last week. Yeah, the Lohingen Academy of Transformation. So I am a student there. I am trying to take my final exam. Now, the character's name, as we gave them, I am going to unmute John so he can at least talk a little bit in the back should he find himself needing to clarify a rules call. I am playing a student who we have named Stratius, or Stratia. I can't remember, one of the two. Something like that. Somebody suggested Stratus, and I tried to magic it up. But I am a studiosa, who is a student year 7 or onwards. I guess I'm technically a candidatus, who is a student preparing for the final exam. So final exams have actually already happened, but I fell horribly ill, and I believe it was the work of one of the proctors, who, her name was something Moonhair. Magister Moonhair, I think is what we called her. But who is the, I guess, record holder, smartest, most bright former student that now works for the academy, and my character seems to believe that Magister Moonhair has tried to sabotage my scholarship, academic scholastic career. I can't talk tonight, y'all. I apologize for the stammering and stuttering, but. So we were trying to take our exams. We went to Archmage Erillion's room, who is administering the exam. There are 2 other proctors, one of them being Moonhair and the other being, I think, a Bruton or something like that. We'll go over all the names. And nobody was there. Through a few choices we made, we were able to kind of explore the room via a spell that was not okay for me to use within the school walls, but I did it anyway because I needed to take my final exam, and nobody was there to give it to me. But the room, it seemed there had been a struggle. There was something going on. We have not yet found Magister, or Archmage Erillion. We are, let's see, we did talked to several people. We talked to Magister Horrigan, who is a very kindly teacher who teaches, I believe it was potions or something, alchemy. And then we tried to check Erillion's room, but we couldn't get in it. We went and talked to the cat that that is kind of always at the house. We did make a lot of correlations, and there are a lot of parallels to, say, Hogwarts, things like that from the Harry Potter universe, that Mrs. Norris is a cat that seems to be in every place that you don't want her to be, and seems to have kind of a higher intelligence than that of just a cat. We talked to her, Nivea, but she just brought us right back to the room because our question was a little vague. So we also went to the cellar. There was nothing doing down there. And then we had gone back to our choice list, which is on entry 100 of this adventure. Now, as I may have not have mentioned in this particular show tonight, but again, these are choose your own adventure style adventures. These are modules that are specifically GM-less. This is made for one person to make choices and flip to different entries to see if they can figure out the mystery or whatever is happening. So tonight, hello Jessica, good to see you. Hello Amanda. So we are back at entry 100 that says you have many choices. What do you decide to do? So we cannot do some of these because in the adventure there are little circles next to each of them, and if I have already been there, I have to cross off that circle. I can't go back. So this adventure also uses a time tracker. As according to my notes, we have 20 time units before it's going to kick me to a specific entry. We have used 7 of those. So we can visit Magistra Moonhair's room. Remember, she's the one that I believe has sabotaged me, but I'm eventually going to have to talk to her. Hey, Sean, good to see you. I need to text you later. If I don't, text me because I have I need to talk to you about something. Sorry, y'all, you got to hear that. Then I can visit Magister Brutum's room. Brutum was the other proctor. So these are again people that did not show up for my exams either, which feels questionable. There is another Magistra I may talk to, Emmenfeld, but she is very suspicious, not very trustworthy. It seems like she doesn't have a great reputation with the students. And then there's Magister Tianen, who is another educator here, and he is a little odd. I believe the book used the term crazy, or didn't want to use the term crazy. It was like we don't like to say he's crazy, but he's a little weird. So then, or we could visit the teacher's lounge, search the dining hall, search the courtyard, search the attic, or I can go back to my room. These are the things that I have not yet done. Does anybody have to kick us off? Where should we go? Should we go talk to one of our proctors, and if so, which one? Should we go talk to just some of the other teachers to see if they've seen Magister Erillion? Or start just searching rooms? We had started at the cellar. We didn't find anything else down there. So I am going to change a few things with our layout real quick. Maps. Inset. And then fix this. Alright, we're going to transition over. So yes, we were in the cellar. Where would we like to go now? Any input? Even from you, John. Do you have any input for where we would like to go?
Ooh,
like I said,
I already said cellar.
Well, we already did cellar.
And so there's the one mage that
do we want to just go talk to the proctors, or do we want to work our way up the we're in the cellar. We could pop into the courtyard just to see what's going on out there. Look for one of the proctors. Okay. That's okay. That sounds good. So we are going to, let's go ahead and start. Do we start with the one that we don't know a whole lot about, or do we hop in and go straight to the lady we believe sabotaged us last time? Magister Moonhair or Magister Brutum, who I don't admittedly I don't believe the adventure says a whole lot about him. I don't know why that particular... Sorry, y'all, for getting a nice close-up view of my forearm. I don't know why that particular... Get the bad one over with. All right. So, we're going to go visit Magistra Moonhair. Her entry is 197. 197. Even though you have never had reason to visit the Deputy Dean's room, you know it is near Archmage Erillion's room, and you quickly find it. Go to 118. You stand in front of Magistra Moonhair's room, listening for sounds of activity within. Nobody else is around. What do you do? Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to click on this map because I believe we're on the top floor now. I can wait for Magistra Moonhair to appear. I can knock on her door, try to peer through the keyhole, or gaze through the wall with the spell Penetrazel. I do not want to use another spell. I am running low on spell points. I believe I had 35. Yeah, my arcane energy points, I started with 38. I have used 12 so far. So for a successful Penetrazel spell, it costs another 6. So I would like to kind of, you know, hold off on some of that. Oh, I did get a healing potion last time. That's cool. I need to highlight that note on here because I will forget that I have that. I did see a vote for knock. Yeah, magic is very costly in the system, and I'm not entirely sure if I can get through it without any. I mean, I am supposed to be taking exams. I'd hate to run behind. So let's go ahead and knock on the door. 98. You knock on the door several times, but nobody answers. All right, back to 118. Do I want to wait for a second? I still have some time to spend. Hey, Twan. Ready to hear some Alex Jones level magery. Oh. Yes, conspiracy. I get it. I get it. Took me a second. Took me a second. My mind was not in Alex Jonesy mode. Conspiracy mode. Magic makes the frogs gay. So, I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm just going to go ahead and get the waiting over with and see if anybody shows up.
You jumped my joke.
Gonna turn the kobolds gay? Nice. Nicely done. Nicely done. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wait. Not the frogs. 205. So I mark off a slot on my time card here. I wait patiently in front of Magistra Moonhair's room, the whole time asking myself why. The longer I wait, the more meaningless it seems. The Magistra would never return to her room with an accuser waiting for her. This is admittedly not the best place to stage an ambush given the rather public location of the door. I begin to hope she does not appear after all. When I finally tire of waiting, a maid named Kulvina trundles down the hall with her cleaning equipment. Kulvina's grumpy demeanor and perpetually squinted eyes are bad enough. The large wart on her chin renders her especially creepy in the eyes of the younger students. Older students often dare each other to waste her time with frivolous requests, and I understand now why she remains suspicious of students. Instead of greeting me, she snarls, "What are you doing here?" So I can reply, "Me? Well, nothing. I just happen to be walking by," and move on. I could say, "I seek Magistra Erillion," and go to another location. Or I could say, "I wish to speak with Magistra Moonhair." So what do I wish to do? Yeah, you gotta watch out for those 5G waves. I've heard many a person say it carries the corona. So am I just gonna play stupid? Say I was walking by? Am I gonna say I'm looking for the Archmage, or am I looking for Magistra Moonhair? Say who I'm looking for? Cool. Alright, I feel like lying is not worth it. So section 11. "The Magistra is not here," she explains in a patronizing tone that would make a teacher proud. "Move along. Magistra Moonhair wants me to clean her room." She waves you away as she pulls a key from her apron and unlocks the door. Maybe all that waiting was valuable after all. Kulvina has a key to the door. If you ask Kulvina to admit you to Magistra Moonhair's room, or I can do that. So I can either ask her to get into the room, or I can try magic instead of persuasion. I really don't want to do that. I don't even know if I have. Do I have a spell that does persuasion? Oh, I do. And if I decide to stop bothering her, I can also go back and just make a choice. So, I do have a spell. I have several spells that I could potentially use. So I have just to throw it out there. I'd rather kind of try to persuade her, but I have Bon Baladin, which the effect thereof is the target's feelings toward the spellcaster change to ones of deep friendship or even love, inspiring the target to aid the spellcaster in any way possible. I also have paralysis. I can transform the target into an unmoving statue. Or I have visibility, and the spellcaster, but not clothes or possessions, turn invisible. The effect does not extend to items enclosed by a hand or held in the mouth. Or it does extend to items enclosed by a hand or held in the mouth. So, potentially, I can either turn her to stone, I can make her really like me and let me in, or, you know, and try to influence her to let me in. Or I can make myself invisible and get naked and hop in the room. Naked is a necessity because my clothes will walk around without me in them. So,
oh, those Germans.
I will say these are expensive. If I do these are expensive. I'm kind of leaning toward or I can use either Salander or Wolfpaw. My character does not know both. I need to pick one. I haven't done this yet. So Salander would transform me into the shape of a smaller creature, like a cat or a dog, or but not a horse, for example. It costs 16 to do that successfully. What costs less, I got one for 12. Sorry, I'm reading something. Oh, I see. So if I use Salander, which costs more as a spell, I get to maintain my original life points. However, if I do Wolfpaw, I get the chosen animal's stats. So it's really, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to become an animal because I just get shoot out or beat with a broom. So, naked tag. So I see a vote for influence. I also see a vote for naked. But for influence, are we saying go ahead and try to use that spell? Because I'll try it. I'll try it once. It requires... Van Baladin requires courage, intelligence, and charisma, and will cost 8 more magic points, which will put me down... Let's see... 38 minus 12 is 16. So that'll put me... Or, I'm sorry, 26. That'll take me down to, like, 14 or something. The influence spell? Okay, let's see. My courage... Just see what my numbers are on here. Courage, intelligence, and charisma. Courage, intelligence, charisma. Yeah, not bad. I'm above average. 13, 14, and 12 on those. I do, of course, have the ability to move some of those. But we'll get into that. Okay. So if we're going to try the spell, it does require me to go to a different entry. You must whip it. I don't know why that gets in my head every time I stream too. If I prefer to try magic instead of persuasion, go to 53. Come on, wake up. I ponder which spell to cast. Corpofesso creates blinding pain to incapacitate a target. I don't wish to do that, but you would never use that on her. Good. If I use Ban Baladin to befriend her so that she lets me into the room, I can do this other thing. If I throw caution to the wind, and if I know the spell, and cast Salander to turn her into a piglet, go to section 161. And if I cast paralysis on her, go to section 48. If I decide to simply leave the old woman in peace, return to section 100. So, we decided to go, we've already decided to use influence. I like that it gave me several different choices of what I could do. So I wouldn't turn into something, but I could potentially turn her into a piglet. But that just seems rude. She's already picked on by all the other students. So let's just try to, you know, influence her feelings and be creepy. So let's do entry 97. Let's see. Okay, you focus on Colvina and speak the incantation. Roll to cast Bambaladin. So, here we go. We have a courage. See what that one is. We got an 11. 11 on my courage is not good. Right, I need to get above, right? My target number?
Below. Or
oh, I need to go below?
Yes.
Okay, so my courage is 13.
So, below 13.
Oh, okay, then I'm good.
Yeah.
I got confused, guys. I forgot what system I was using. Or I forgot how to play the system I'm using. Intelligence now. Let's see here. I got a 3. That's pretty stinking good. My intelligence was a 14, and then the last one I have is charisma. Charisma is this die. I rolled a 13. My charisma is 12, so technically I failed it. But I should have spell points, right?
Yes, if you're casting a spell.
I am casting a spell.
And you can use your spell, the points associated with spell casting. This should be a spell casting skill.
Spell casting skill. Maybe it's not on this page.
Do you have any of your spells listed with points next one?
There it is. There it is. There it is. Sorry. I didn't know. I'm still not used to this character sheet, so I didn't know where the things were. But there is a spellcasting page that lists all my spells out and gives my SR, which is, I don't remember what that stands for.
Spell ratio or spell, yeah.
Something. Okay, so for Banbaladin, oh, this says, what does that mean? John, what does this mean? It's got courage, intelligence, charisma, which I'm going to go by what the book says, but after charisma it has a little minus SPI.
I think that's the actual cost of the spell.
Oh, okay.
Points.
Okay. Well, I have 4 that I can use to adjust, so I'm obviously going to use 1 to bump that down to a success, which means I succeeded on all things. If I have fewer than 8 arcane energy, or if I fail, go to this section. If I succeed, go to section 193. I succeeded, and I am now down an additional 8 spell points. Let me jot that down real fast. 26 minus 8 takes us to 18. Right? If you guys hear me do bad math, tell me, because I will continue to do it. If you succeed, go to section 193. The spell succeeds, and Grumpy Colvina now considers you her best friend. Of course she will allow you into that room. Of course she won't tell a soul. And of course she is happy to run and fetch you some bread and cheese from the kitchen. You breathe easier when she leaves. Sorry, I dropped my pencil. You breathe easier when she leaves, but you feel sorry for her. Does she have any real friends at the school? Students have not acted kindly towards her over the years, and your behavior is no exception. She has good reason to mistrust you all. Vowing to make amends for it later, you light a candle and enter the room. Subtract 8 arcane energy from your total and go to section 116. I ponder my options for searching Magister Moonhair's room. I can either take a quick look around, open the door to the study, use Penetrazel to gaze through the door to the study, or I can use Penetrazel to gaze through the wall next to the study door. I wonder what the difference is. I really don't want to use more spells, but maybe the only way. So I can open the door to the study. I mean, you kind of assume that maybe, do I just take a quick look around? You must whip it. Look around. Every time I look around. All right. Every time I look around. I go to section 201. Magister Moonhair's room is nicely furnished, though the 4 small chairs look lost next to the massive wooden table that dominates the room. Maybe she used to own more chairs? A quick peek inside her wardrobe reveals magical gowns, cutlery, plates, a sewing kit, a slender hunting knife, a box of candles, and an unusually large cache of food. Considering that the school serves 3 good meals a day, you are surprised to find weatherproof clothes and hiking boots. Does Magister Moonhair have interest outside her research at the school? You know that elves feel a close connection to nature, but from all the mud on her, boots, the cobwebs on the sleeves of her suede jacket, and the streaks of dust on her trousers, you suspect she spends her free time exploring caves. She sounds kind of cool. 2 unadorned boxes draw your eye. One contains a skillfully carved flute made from a lightweight wood and you cannot identify. The other contains almost a dozen roughly carved wooden figurines of unknown purpose. You place everything back where you found it and close the wardrobe doors. Return to section 116. So, I missed that she was an elf too, or at least I don't remember it. Do we want to just go ahead and peek in the study? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mooncrow and I are not elf fans. Yeah, no. there's a few, I suppose, that I'm okay with, but generally no. I'm a dwarf person. Amanda's a hobbit person. John likes elves, though. But that's fine. I love John. Do we just want to go ahead and open the door, or do we want to do some spell work? I'm really interested why it offers me 2 different options. Wonder if one is thicker than the other, or if one is protected by magic. Yes, Amanda is a hobbit. That's good point. I am not a dwarf. I am very tall. This system is the quintessential stuck-up elf variety. Yeah. Well, it's D&D elves. just from Europe. I think I'm just going to open the door. Does anybody disagree with that move? Okay, we're doing it. 17. That wasn't where I wanted to go. 17. It took me to the wrong entry. So let me go find it. Open it! Alright, 17. The inner door has no keyhole, but it is locked. An indentation resembling a slightly skewed 8-pointed star sits where the keyhole should be. Magister Moonhair must use a magic key to secure the inner door. No sense trying to pick the lock with mundane tools. The Magister probably also reinforces the door with magic. Even if you were as strong as Magister Olya says you should be, you couldn't break through this door. That's why. That's why. I bet the door will prevent me from using Penetrazel on it. I may be able to look through the wall, but is that something that we want to do? Again, I have 18 arcane energy left. I don't know if I can go to my room and restore some of this energy. I don't know. But I'm getting low. Wouldn't bet on it. So, I mean, I'm getting low. So do we go ahead and chance it for this, or do we do some other stuff? Now, I do not think I can come back to her room if I leave now. But I could try to look through the wall. I had a drink. Where's my drink? I see a vote for looking through the wall. I think it's at least worth it to try. So, let's do this. Section 30. This does take me a moment of time, so let me mark that off. Okay. Penetrazel. You wonder what is behind this wall. Either the study is quite large, or more than one room lies beyond. Curious, you press your brow against the wall and recite the incantation. Penetrazel. Penetrazel. So, rolling my courage. Let me get these out of here. Courage. That is a 2. Sagacity. That is a 15. I think that's a little high for my sagacity. No, 15 is on the mark for my sagacity. Nice. And then intelligence, which is this one. Is the dark eye symbol a 1 or a 20? It's a 1? Let me just quickly verify. Yes, it is. Okay. So, I rolled a 1. I don't know if...
That's a critical success, essentially.
So, what does that mean?
Nothing in this.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So, Penetrazel succeeded. I have 6, so if I succeed, go to section 219. Your awareness penetrates the wall, and you see a bed, some billowing green curtains on the window on the far wall, and a curtain to your right that appears to be covering the entrance to a neighboring room, probably the mage's private study. The simple wooden bed is wide and looks comfortable enough. It has a thick straw mattress, a pile of warm blankets, and many pillows of various sizes. Almost everything on the bed is green in color, creating the impression of a mossy landscape. Alas, nobody is here. What a disappointment. The spell expires and your awareness returns to your body. So she's, you know, she's making her little place look like it's, you know, Elfland. It's nice and mossy and green. So, 116. Do I keep... I mean, I've seen... I think it's time to leave. There's nothing else I can do. I've used Penetrazel to gaze through the wall. I tried to open the door. I couldn't, and I took a quick look around. So, I haven't really found anything here that seems to point... When I'll be honest, when the maid said that she was coming to clean the room, the Magister Moonhair asked her to do that, I was a little suspicious. Like, what's in there? What are you doing? Why do you gotta clean it right now? So yeah, I agree. I think we need to go look for Proctor Brutum. Maybe they're chilling together. So, let me do this. Oh, you taking a book?
I'm gonna look up how you can get spell points back.
Okay, cool. So let's go back to 100. And to visit Magister Brutum's room, let's go to section 9. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, there is like a 10 to 15 second delay between what I say and what you and when you hear it. So I try to give some time to in between choices to let everybody get a vote in if they wish. It is not the perfect system, but it is the one that we have. Magister Brutum occupies a special place within the school. Barely 30 years old, he is the school's youngest teacher. He specializes in the paralysis research. While not well regarded in the academy, this spell is quite popular with students, as most know at least one person they think deserves to spend time as a statue. You can think of one such person right now, Magister Brutum, and many students would agree with you. Unlike Magister Horrigan, a stern but fair teacher, Magister Brutum fails to inspire. He acts casually and pretends to be everyone's friend, until he turns on them. New students find this behavior entertaining, but they soon recognize the deception. Though not as stern as other teachers, Brutum is unpredictable, except when in the company of Magister Moonhair, that is. His affection for her is the worst kept secret in the school. You cringe just thinking about it, and you are almost glad that his door is closed when you arrive. Go to section 64. You're standing in front of Magister Brutum's door. Nobody else is around. A stone bench sits to one side of the door. What do you do? I can wait patiently, knock on the door, try to look through the keyhole, or again, try to use Penetrazel. I'm really leaning towards waiting for a second, but I feel like no one is here. No one is in this school. Or they're all being invisible and they're seeing what I'm doing and they're going, she keeps using that spell, she's breaking the rules. But I'm tempted to wait once. Or, well, I can knock first and then wait. Again, this is a room that I can only go to once. Knock. Cool. 34. You knock, but there is no response. If Magister Brutum is home, he does not want to open the door. So I'm going back to 64, and we're going to wait. And if Colvina shows back up again, I'm going to be like, dang it. Leave me be. Leave me be, Colvina. Wait patiently. Go to section 129. I mean, somebody needs to show up at some point, right? I was supposed to take a test today. Where are these people? I'm marking off my time unit. Patiently, you sit down on the stone bench next to Magister Brutum's room. Today is supposed to be your graduation day, but instead all you seem to do is sit around waiting. You do not have time for this. While you wait, your thoughts begin to wander. Soon you realize the word wait resembles the word wart. Witches have many warts, as the common folk say. Witches' warts waiting. You try to think of something else, but your mind soon wanders to curses, diseases, pyres, and the Midden Realm's brutal Inquisition, which killed hundreds of innocent people. Depressingly, some people in Lohingen think all witches are evil. You follow your gloomy thoughts for a time, but soon grow tired of waiting. You want to act. Go to section 64. I agree. I think this is the test. And I also agree with the whole mental train. Wait.
Okay.
Warts, wait. What?
My
John has found something.
Okay. So if I'm on, essentially, for this game, in order for you to recover magic points, you have to rest for 6 hours.
Oh.
At which point you recover 1d6 magic points.
Okay.
And you can only do that twice a day.
Okay.
So I doubt this scenario, this game
is going to have enough of that?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
So, sorry.
So that's fine. So do we want to look through the keyhole? Or are we going to just go ahead and spend our magic? I have 12 points of magic left. One more spell would... let's see. To be honest, I could only do that spell 2 more times. Period. If I do a different spell, it will leave me with even less points. And there are some spells that I can't even do at this point. Armatrutz is the target skin gains a super, so it's a defense. It's like a mage armor type spell. And I can cast it with a 4, so I could potentially do an 8 and a 4, or 2 6s is where I currently am. I'm gonna turn this light off behind me. There. Look through the keyhole. Cool. If you try to look through the keyhole, go to section 156. Sorry, my dice had gotten very out of focus. There we go. Trying some new setups with our dice cam and trying to make it a little bit more readable and accessible. 156. Like any other door to a teacher's office or private room, this door has a keyhole, but you cannot see through it. A stone-like substance blocks it completely. You do not know how Magister Brutum bypasses it to unlock his door, but you have seen crazier things within these walls. It certainly is a good deterrent. Go to section 136, or go to 64. Go to section 64. So, I really don't know if I care enough to look in this room. I kind of feel like I'm just going to move on and start looking some other places, or talk to the teacher that doesn't like anybody. Somebody has to be. There has to be another teacher here besides the alchemist. But if I don't look at his room right now, personally I feel like it's a waste of magic points to look in this guy's room. He's not answering. Screw him. Nobody else has answered, and they've not been there, so I'm just I'm burning through my spell points. And while I agree it's the test, while I agree it's the test, I've only cast a single spell multiple times. So I don't want to keep, I guess I cast 2 different spells, but I've cast one of them 3 times, and I got that one. They know I got it. So let's go back to 100. Amanda agrees that it's a waste. That's good enough for me right now. I think I'm going to search the courtyard. Nothing else is leading me there. Let's just see if there's some people there. Maybe I'll find these proctors. The upper levels of the dormitory open onto the inner courtyard through rows of columns. Even though little direct sunlight reaches the ground because of tall buildings. Here, let's go ahead and bring up these and take off that. So there's the courtyard. You guys can kind of see it there in the middle. Even though little direct sunlight reaches the ground because of the tall buildings, magic ensures that colorful, fragrant flowers bloom here year-round. Students usually spend their free time here either walking the paths and admiring the flowers, or else standing and sitting around in small groups, chatting, gossiping, or reading. Today, however, you only see servants going about their business. As you recall, most faculty and students are off campus celebrating the end of term. You take a few moments to smell the fresh air, gaze at the beautiful ivy-entwined gazebo, and enjoy a moment of calm, but alas, you do not find Magister Moonhair or Archmage Erillion here. Go to 100. Okay, well, we did it. And it didn't cost a time unit, so cool. We can search the attic, go to my room, go to the dining hall, go to the teacher's lounge, or talk to the other teachers. I mean, I'm cool with going to the teacher's lounge. I can do the dining hall twice, by the way. So, that's something to know. And I can also seek advice from Magister Immenfeld twice, or seek advice from Major Tina. You know, I'm actually open to talking to the other teachers. Let's go ahead and talk to the one that is kind of untrustworthy, and let's just see what goes on. Let's go talk to Magister Immenfeld. Entry number 57. Ooh, if that's her, she looks PO'd. So, I gotta mark off a time unit. Wee-hoo. I like that bird sound. It's cute.
We're back indoors.
We're back indoors, though. As you head toward Magister Olya Immenfeld's room, you recall a humorous incident involving another student period. One day, while Magister Horrigan was conducting a review of magical theory, a girl named Rhonda asked when the class could try something a bit more exciting, like summoning a demon. Without hesitation, the professor said, "Rhonda, demons are a source of endless suffering. If pain is what you crave, I suggest you take one of Magister Immenfeld's classes." Magister Horrigan's droll answer still makes you smile. The school's teachers rarely criticize each other in front of students, but those two professors are well known for their mutual dislike. Similarly, Magister Immenfeld is still angry that Magister Moonhair was promoted to deputy headmistress ahead of her. Magister Immenfeld's well-documented ambition makes her unpopular with students and faculty alike. And just about everyone has reasons to dislike her. Now that you think about it, maybe Magister Immenfeld isn't the best person to ask for help. Lost in thought, you turn the corridor that leads to her room and promptly run right into the giant woman. The giant woman. Gaunt is the word that he used, not giant. And promptly run right into the gaunt woman, knocking her off balance. Her candle falls from its holder, and a large tome slips from beneath her arm and hits the floor with a thud. You quietly mumble an apology. Her brown eyes spark angrily at you from beneath her page boy haircut, and even though she is shorter than you, she suddenly seems as large as an ogre. Is that what passes for an apology these days? She barks at you in a voice that could shatter glass. You silently pray that she doesn't turn you into an insect and step on you as she retrieves her book and candle. You make a second attempt to apologize, this time with more conviction. And in your voice, with more conviction in your voice. She eyes you critically for what seems like forever and then gives a dismissive wave. "Aren't you supposed to be taking your final exam?" she asks, her face resuming its normally stern expression. Excuse me. How do you wish to respond? The exam is concluded. Not true. The exam was postponed. Not true. The exam was meant to take place now, but Archmage Erillion never showed up, which I'm inclined to tell the truth. Or the exam was supposed to take place now, but Archmage Erillion didn't show up because Magister Moonhair abducted him. I don't like these. We're not doing that one because I don't think that. Roxanne does not think that. Out of character, Roxanne does not think that. So I'm leaning toward the exam was meant to take place now, but Archmage Erillion never showed up. Are we good with that? Just 1 second, y'all. My hair was bothering me, and it'll continue to bother me. Be truthful. Okay. 183. Never showed up? The Magister asked slowly, as if verbally tightening thumbscrews. What do you mean? You stand transfixed by her gaze as you struggle to think of a satisfactory answer. What do you say? I can either say I think the exam was postponed maybe, or... Well, I am convinced that Magister Moonhair is involved somehow. Now, the only reason why this might work, and I still don't like it, but it doesn't give me another option. It doesn't give me another option. The only reason that I think this might work is because she also hates Magister Moonhair. So, I can just say she might be involved somehow. But why am I constantly just focusing on this woman? It makes me sound like an idiot. I hate it. But I think that's the best one, because I don't think the exam was postponed. This is the last day of term. That also makes me sound like an idiot. So I think I'm just going to take crazy idiot that wants to blame somebody. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating that those are the only two options it gives me. Turn my dice to there. If you, I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see it if I turn it? Look at my cute little wheel I made. So the book has something similar to this with these colors like this. I just made a big one that I could set dice on. I like it. It's, you know, nothing exciting, but it's mine and I made it and I like it. So anyway, back to the dice cam. I'm hoping it's not a clue you were supposed to find elsewhere and it auto assumes you had. I mean, that could be the thing. I think I'm going to go ahead and say that because I don't want to say that it was postponed. Because then she's going to be like, why would it be postponed? You're dumb. And I don't know. I don't know. We're going to say 125. We still live, y'all? Looks like we're still live. Everybody showing we're still live?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Doesn't say I've dropped anything, but for some reason it was saying my internet was... Maybe we're fine. I think we're fine. Okay, sorry. Magistra Moonhair is involved somehow. 125. Magistra Immenfeld's usually stern expression briefly changes to one of curiosity. She leads you back to her room and asks you to take a seat in an unexpectedly comfortable chair, which she had no doubt had to import from someplace far away, like Vinsalt. While she secures an uncomfortable wooden chair for herself, you take the opportunity to quickly glance around the room. All of the Magistra's possessions, shelves, table, cupboard, bed, curtains, and even writing supplies, speak of wealth and luxury, but none of them are warm and inviting. Her golden quill is bent, her expensive curtains are ugly, and the carvings on her square table, though exquisite, are rather boring. Magistra Immenfeld's furniture shows sophistication and taste, but you sense it gives her no enjoyment. You soon realize that your chair is far from comfortable. At least the Magistra's chair forces her to sit upright. Your chair's soft, fluffy cushions offer no support at all, and you struggle to avoid falling over. From your nearly horizontal position, you feel very small next to the Magistra. She reminds you of a bird of prey sitting on a high perch, ready to swoop down at any moment. So, the Magistra begins, you think Magistra Moonhair has something to do with your predicament? If you nod your head signifying yes, go to section 213. If you shake your head no, go to section 79. I kind of am leaning towards yes. Because the character does. Regardless of whether or not I think so, the character has proven that they definitely think that Moonhair is involved. So I'm going to nod my head signifying yes and go to section 213. These are serious accusations, Magistra Immenfeld says, her voice uncharacteristically softening. She sits silently for a long moment with hands folded, cradling her chin with her thumbs, her index fingers covering her nose as she stares at one of the paintings on the wall. It's an interesting way of sitting. But I think I do it, to be quite honest. I've just never described it. You find the painting greatly disturbing. The scene is one of darkness, pressing in from all sides, drowning the sickly yellow glow from a small candle that reveals a mage with crazed eyes performing a summoning. A crown of bones, a bizarre amulet, and several long bloody talons sit on the table before him. What inspired the Magistra to buy such a thing? This makes sense, Magistra Immenfeld whispers to herself. It fits. Turning to you, she says, I believe you. The secret stays between us, for without proof we can do little. Be careful, Magistra Moonhair is a powerful woman, and few students can stand in her way. You agree, even though you cannot say whether you intend to follow her advice. Magistra Immenfeld is probably right, but you sense things are not entirely as they seem. Does the Magistra want to prevent you from solving the riddle of the Archmage's disappearance? Return to your room, she continues. I will ask around. Visit me again later. With luck, I will have learned something useful. You nod and wait for her to say more, but then you realize that the conversation is over. It is time for you to go. You extract yourself from the upholstery with some difficulty and leave Magistra Immenfeld's room. So, do we listen to her? Do we go to our room? That actually went better than I expected. In fact, that's been, besides dealing with the alchemist, that is my favorite entry so far. Stuff happened. I will say, for as much as I have relatively enjoyed this adventure, and I think it's great for beginners, it's been boring as heck. It's been, can't do it, move on, can't do it, move on, can't do it, move on. So go to room or don't listen to her. I've got conflicting opinions. So if I can get one more person to pop in and say either go to my room or to listen to her, or to not listen to her, I will do that thing. But if I don't listen to her, I also need votes on where to go. So I can either try to go talk to that other teacher, go to the teacher's lounge, go to the dining hall. Those are the only places left, besides going to my room. Are there any other teachers left? Yes. Magister Teenan, who I can talk to 3 times, which is interesting to me. You know, so far, out of all the art that I've seen in this book, there's been very few that we've actually been able to use, but like, there's this one here that's really interesting that, I don't know, maybe we'll get to use it at some point. But I don't want to tell you about it, but maybe try the other teacher. So remember, Magister Emmenfeld said she would ask around. Do I take the risk of being caught by her? Or do I go and ask by myself? I actually don't mind the idea of going and asking by myself. At least once. And then going to my room? I don't know. Why don't we go to my room? We can always come back out of my room. Let's go to my room. See what happens there. So. Spin the time unit. I'm below half on my time units. I have 8 left of my 20. You return to your room for a needed rest, half expecting to find Archmage Erillion waiting for you, but your hope fades as you open the door to find the room standing empty just as you left it. Exhausted, you flop down on the bed. Solving the riddle of Magister Erillion's disappearance is taxing, and you need a few seconds to gather your thoughts. The search is not proceeding as well as you expected. Groggily, you look around and take mental inventory of the room's contents. Wobbly stool, table, water jug, wardrobe, 2 bottles of translucent blue liquid, notebook. Wait, you do not own any bottles of translucent blue liquid. Upon closer examination, you determine they are magical potions. When imbibed, each restores 1d6 plus 8 arcane energy, up to your maximum amount. Good! Good! What are they doing here? Potions like these are rare even at a school like the Academy of Transformation, and most students could not afford one such bottle. School rules forbid students from entering each other's dorm rooms uninvited. But potions are not illegal, so what reason could somebody have for placing them here? You doubt someone owes you a favor. Regardless, you are grateful for the unexpected gift. With renewed courage, you store the bottles in your pocket. Maybe destiny does favor you. Who can tell for sure? Record the bottle in your inventory and go to section 100. Now, it says I have 2, right? Yeah, I'm writing down 2. Even though it says record the bottle. So we're going to say mana potion, because that's essentially what it is. And that gives me 1d6 plus 8 arcane energy when imbibed, up to max. Which my max is 38. Yay! Going to the room was smart. Going to the room was smart. Thank you, Jessica and my brain for deciding for deciding to do that. Against John wanting to go and be bad. But now we can go be bad. Want to go talk to Major Teenan now? Let's go talk to the other teacher, eh? Alright, Magister Teenan. I do want to write down that I have done this, that I talked to her once. I should have printed this page and I forgot to. So, I get 3 boxes, or 2 boxes to talk to Emmenfeld. And I get 3 boxes to talk to Teenan. Okay. And according to the book, there is no way to wait there for her to tell me anything, so forget her. It was the book's fault. Magister Teenan, 188. So, we mark off a time unit. I guess, do we want to go ahead and imbibe one of our bottles now? Or do we want to wait and make sure that we get as much arcane energy as we can? At most, from, like, if I rolled perfect, I could get 14 right now. I'm sitting at 12, so that would put me back up at 26. Something to think about. Magister Stord Teenan is a living legend, respected the world over for his brilliant insights into magical theory. Sadly, his mind suffers from the ravages of time and old age, and he often gets lost on his way to class. This does not bother him in the least, however, for he just as often forgets where he's going. This malady affects every aspect of his life except his knowledge of magic, which remains as solid and dependable as ever. As Magister Horgan would say, if you want to find Magister Teenan, look where you do not expect to find him. Thus, you skip his room in the library, and you also ignore the laboratories and the scriptoriums. Instead, you start with the gazebo in the courtyard, and lo, you find him. The ancient man sits alone on the ground, clad in a white robe. As you draw nearer, you notice that he is lecturing to some doves about the topic of arcane energy. "The flux maximus permeates us all," he says. "Its fine web unfolding like a network of arteries and veins. However, instead of the red stuff of life, power flows through that pulsing web. This power is intrinsic to every creature on Dare, but controllable only by those with the magical gift. You are fortunate not simply because you are part of the Reticulum Arcanum, but because you can control it." The Magister pauses to let his words sink in, but the doves show no visible reaction. Eventually one twitches its head, and then all the birds start running to and fro, cooing excitedly. Magister Teenan tries to regain their attention, but the birds refuse to listen, and he sits down on his bench in defeat. Magister Teenan? Am I interrupting anything?" you ask softly, trying not to startle him. The mage turns toward the sound of your voice, his cloudy eyes straining to see you, and then his face lights up. "I know you," he beams. "Dinner time already, Ludvina?" If you admit you are not Ludvina, go to section 121. If you try to impersonate Ludvina, a rosy-cheeked maid with a limp, go to section 35. Do I pretend to be a limping maid? Or...
That's terrible.
What?
That's terrible.
That she's a limping maid? A rosy-cheeked maid with a limp. Or am I honest? Don't lie. Lying just feels like it'd get me into trouble, you know. Amanda, do you have input? Amanda. Someone. Anyone. Input.
Oh. So I just said no lie.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I'm good with no lying. Don't lie. Truth. Truth good. If you admit that you're not Ludwina, go to section 121. Magister Teenan, I'm not Ludwina. My name is, you say, but the Magister interrupts you. "Ludwina, I knew it!" he declares with a grin. "People say my eyes are weak and my mind is slipping, but that is not true. I recognized you." You don't have the heart to argue with him. You are a student of the prestigious Lohingen Academy of Transformation. If it makes the old professor happy, you can pretend to be Ludwina for a little while. Go to section 35. Just hold my hand, adventure. Fine. Make me an actress. "Yes, Magister Teenan, it is Ludwina," you say, speaking up so he can hear you. No matter what other people say, I know the truth. Your eyes miss nothing, and your mind is as sharp as ever. The mage smiles sheepishly, saying, You are always nice to me, even though I burden you with demands and rarely thank you for your kindness. You have seen him get emotional, and you silently hope that this is not one of those times. But then you see the first tear rolling down his cheek. What do you say? I'm happy to help. There is no shame in growing old and feeble. Don't mention it. Your smile is thanks enough. Well, you could act a bit more grateful, Magister Teenan. Okay, we're not going with the bitch response. That's being a dick. I also feel like that is a backhanded. It's just backhanded. This I'm happy to help. There's no shame in growing old and feeble. So I'm going with don't mention it. Your smile is thanks enough. 160. As always, you are too lenient with an old man, he says, wiping away tears with the back of his hand. It must be time to eat. Would you like to sit with me in the dining hall? You shake your head, saying that you have other duties to perform, and anyway you are not hungry. The old Magister nods, but you see a hint of disappointment in his eyes. You try a different approach, saying, Magister Teenan, I have an important question. I must find Magister Moonhair. Have you seen her? Mela? The Magister says distantly. I often see Mela, yes. He then nods to himself and falls silent. You gaze at him expectantly, but soon realize he has answered your question. Patience running thin, you ask a more precisely worded question. When and where did you last see Magister Moonhair? You ask. Make a willpower check with a +3 bonus if you can keep up your sweet voice. Well, I can. So courage, intelligence, and charisma is a willpower roll. So courage. Oh, that's a natural 20. That's not good, right?
That is not good.
That is not good. For courage?
And,
Okay.
that was a...
Willpower roll.
Yeah, then there's no...
There's no willpower skill. Yeah, there is.
Oh, is there?
It says no.
Yeah.
It does have 3 in SR, though. I don't know what E and C means. So, like, on my columns on my character sheet, I have skill, then I have the check, then it says E and C, and the answers underneath are yes, no, maybe. And then there's...
Do you have enough points that you could actually lower it to a success?
No.
Yeah.
So it's an automatic fail? Okay. A +3. How does that work? With a +3 bonus? So my number,
yeah.
So my courage would be up to a 16 instead of just a 13. Are there outright critical fails in this where, like, if you roll a 20 on one, it's just done? God, so close. I could get it down to a 17 with the 3, but that's it. So I think I didn't keep my... If it fails, go to section 16. Well, I didn't even get to roll all my dices. All right, 16. Magister Teenan eyes you suspiciously, saying, Do not use that tone with me, mobshaft. I know what you were doing. This is one of your cruel tricks. I should turn you into a pig turn you into the pig you always have been. Then he starts mumbling quietly. You cannot tell whether he is casting a spell or simply muttering. Most students at the school think of him only as a magical theoretician. Nobody has ever seen him cast a spell, which may indicate he never learned any. Now, however, you are not so sure, and you see no reason to wait around and find out. So that is that. So we can go to the teacher's lounge, go to the dining hall, which is where he was headed. And those are oh, and the attic. We have not been to the attic yet either. Dining hall? Let's go. I can go to the dining hall twice. Let's see here. Dining hall. Alright, cross one off on that one. Crumbs. What was my number on that? I think it was 25. I didn't say it out loud. Yeah, dining hall is 25. Come on. Oh, my PDF keeps blanking out. Except for 2 maids clearing away dishes and a young student with boil-covered skin sitting alone at the dining hall at one of the long at one of the dining hall's long tables. The room is unoccupied. If you ask the maids for news of Magister Erillion or Magister Moonhair, go to section 187. If you ask the student, go to section 206, and if you decide not to bother anyone, return to section 100. Well, I have a vote for the attic, so we'll keep that in mind. Attic will be the next place we go. Do we want to talk to anybody here first? Man, my neck hurts today, y'all. Actually, that's not news. That's every day anymore. So I can't ask teachers, I can ask the maids or the student. Ask someone? Okay. Maids? You know, I honestly feel like maids are an I should be talking to more, unappreciated, and they're kind of like children, and like, where kids know everything because people don't think that they're paying attention. See, so let's go to 187 to talk to the maids. This does take me a unit of time. Okay. The maids do not react when you enter the large room. You know little about them beyond their names. Altuna and Birnja. Birnja? B-I-R-N-J-A. Birnja. And that they are twin sisters. They are about the same age as you, and you know that they started working at the school last winter. You've had little to do with them so far, but the rumors about the beautiful twins have painted a very clear picture. You have heard they worship the love goddess Raha, and allegedly both are very passionate to pursue the goal of securing a well-situated future, mostly in the beds of older studiosi. Studio C? I think I did that joke last week. While you're still wondering if you're really the only one who never felt like joining the courtship of one of them, they're already taking notice of you. Clenching their lips vigorously to provoke a stronger red, Altuna plucks her dress down to emphasize her lush cleavage, while Birnja strives to achieve the same effect by perkily heaving her breasts upward. All right, so nope, I'm not shaming anybody. And my poor little potentially asexual student is just like, I've just not been interested. Am I the only one? But there was a picture of, my character getting undressed by a couple of women that I saw earlier, so maybe this will take us there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so exciting.
Why, hello there.
Hello there. So one is pulling her dress down, and one is just lifting the girls up. So she's perkily heaving her breasts upward. Handsome man, is there something we can assist you with? So I guess I'm a man. I was trying to play it as a girl, but apparently I'm a boy. Asked Birnja while Altuna winks at you with her eyes. What else would she be winking at me with? Shall I even dare to ask? While Altuna winks at you with her eyes and has a broad faux smile on her lavish lips. Inevitably, you feel the heat rise to your face as the two move even closer. You're getting more and more uncomfortable. Hazel, are you gassy? Great, thank you. Don't look at me like that. I'm doing a show. And Passionerdly is over there singing in the chat. So, you heave me up. Would you like to climb my mountain? This is John and I on a normal day. So, let's see. You stammer as Altuna puts her right hand on your arm. I wanted... The two are giggling, and your face is burning like fire. I like it when men are coy, whispers Birnja softly. Altuna gives you a passionate look. She's still winking at me with her eyes. Then her sister continues. Whatever we can help you with, I'm sure we can do a lot better in our room. You try to swallow, but your throat is dry. What kind of situation did you just stumble into? You never had anything to do with ladies in the manner suggested. Next page. You feel pressured and insecure. The offer is tempting, and the rising and falling of breasts in front of you underline it with every breath. Yeah. See, okay. I need to just copy and paste this. I'm on a Yes, these thoughts are thirsty. but there's a Facebook group that I'm a part of that is all about badly written erotica, and I know that this doesn't essentially count as erotica, but there's some poorly written stuff in here that's pretty good. But you also know this should not be the time to do it, and you also have the very plausible concern that you might be the butt of a nasty joke here. Why are the two trying so hard to seduce you? There has to be some evil ulterior motive, or are they completely? Oh, or are Fex and Raha just blessing your way? Those must be. We know Raha is the goddess of love or whatever. I don't know what Fex is, but perhaps similar. Come on, urged Altoona. We only bite a little. Then she takes your hand and leads you on. Are you following her? If I am, I go to this one. Or are you pulling your hand away and bring some distance between you and the two? So, do we follow? Or do we dare not? I mean, might be a joke, but there are not very many students there, so. But distance? Yeah, I mean, I am getting a little uncomfortable because clearly Stratius does not want to do this. So, let's put a little distance between us and go to 134. Maybe a little rude, you withdraw your hand. Even if they both are serious and you are not certain they are, now is not the time to give you carnal desires. The two sisters, of course, seem to see it differently. Shortly they try to convince you, but you remain steadfast. The two instantly resent you as they see the futility of their attempts to seduce you. While Altoona just gives you a withering look, Birnha adds snappishly that you've missed something the others would have given an arm or leg for. Then the two step away so hasty that you forget to ask them both about... there's a I believe this is probably a translation error, but it means Archmage Erillion, or Archmage Erillion. It says Magus. However, you would not have expected an answer either. You take a moment to calm your breathing, sort yourself out, and let the dizziness pass. Then you remember the other student whom you hope did not witness this embarrassing exchange. You look around, but he is nowhere in sight. The dining hall is empty. So, there's that. We can go back to Emmenfeld. We can go to the attic was where we were going to go, right? Let's go to the attic. We still have the teacher's lounge that we can visit as well. So 75 takes me to the attic. Let's burn another time unit. This one. These ladies, they did just want the lovin'. But they were very forceful about it, and that's rude. That's not how we operate in Lohingen. That's not how Stratius will conduct his affairs. So, you climb the ladder to the observatory, a small chamber on the top floor of the school. A comfy arrangement of cushions adorns the floor beneath a large glass skylight. Normally, it would afford an excellent view, but the sky today is a dull, uniform gray. You pry open a small hatch and crawl into the dusty, stifling, low-ceilinged attic. The only illumination comes from a small shuttered opening in the roof. You search the whole attic, but only find a couple of blankets, a badly hidden bag of intoxicants, and true crude drawings of dwarfs in the act of love. Where's that art? Inquiring minds want to know. Nothing indicates here that the kidnapping took place, but it is merely a testament to the busy behavior of some of your classmates. You return to the observatory, brushing away the cobwebs and dust clinging to your robes. Alright, so we can either go back to the dining room, go back to one of the teachers, or go ahead and go to the teacher's lounge. Do we want to go ahead and get the teacher's lounge out of the way? There was naught in the attic except for drugs and sexual imagery. Which I'm here for, but maybe not everybody else. So, not the adventure creators. Stratius is quite distracted. Teacher's lounge it is. And then we'll go back and revisit some of the people that we've talked to previously. 107. How often have students found themselves standing outside the imposing door of the teacher's lounge with their hearts pounding? Everyone knows only teachers may enter this room, and teachers do not like to be disturbed for petty reasons. All solicitors must address the eerie face carved into the door and ask clearly and politely whether the mage they seek resides within. The door always answers in a creaky voice that matches its wooden visage. Instead of wading through the list of teachers to find one who might be here, you decide to simply ask if anyone is inside. The door's reply is simple, but sounds no less terrifying. "No!" it wails. You suppose finding the Archmage here would have been too convenient. Disappointed, you try another option. See, this is what most of this adventure has been, and it's kind of a bummer. Quite honestly. Just keep going back here. So, we can go back to the dining hall, or we can go and try to talk to Magistrate Immenfeld one more time. One time, when I was a kid. Hey David, good to see you. We're deciding if we're going to go talk to Magistrate Immenfeld, who had decided to help us, and was going to ask around, and told us to wait and come see her later. Or we can go try to talk to the old man who is kind of senile. Or we can go back to the dining hall one more time, and hope that the maids that just tried to seduce us are not there. But I was going to tell a quick story while I wait for input. And that is, because when I do this face, when I was 7, my parents and I flew to Orlando to go to Disney World. This was 92. I was almost 7. Yeah, it was the summer of 92, so I was still... Or no, I was 7. Yeah, I was 7. And they, for some reason, on one of the flights, I don't remember if it was to or from, I believe it was from, but they sat, my parents and I were separated. So, yeah, I probably will go back to Immenfeld. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do. But they sat us separate. So my dad was ahead of me by several rows, and then my mom, I could see on the other side of the plane, was also up a few rows. We were like a little triangle. Why they let an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old sit by them, you know, essentially sit alone. But I was sat with another 7-year-old, or a kid around my age, and her grandmother. And I remember her grandmother distinctly, because, and at the time I thought it was literally just her mouth, but looking back, I'm pretty sure it was just the way that she did her makeup, but her mouth looked that small. Like, even smaller. And I think she just did her makeup, like, right here, under the Cupid's bow thing, or right here, and just a little bit here, and then she just used foundation on everything else, because her mouth looked completely itty-bitty, and she was very stern with me. She was fine for most of the flight, but something happened, and she started chewing me out, and I don't know if I did something or what, but yeah, it has stuck with me ever since. And so sometimes when I think of like stern teachers similar to this Immenfeld, I see that girl's grandmother in my head with her tiny little mouth telling me that I'm a bad child. Anyway, Magistrate Immenfeld on... So this is our second trip to her, which takes us to a new entry at 142. So, 142 will spend a time unit. This is the last time that I can go, by choice, to her. It says if the result is even, go to section 26. If the result is odd, go to 119. So what... I'm going to roll... We're going to roll a d12. Why not? Doesn't say what, just says a die. And it bounced right out, and I can't see it either, so... That is a 1. So that is odd. We're going to go to 119. You go to Magistrate Immenfeld's room, but her door is locked and she does not seem to be present. You wait for a moment and are just about to leave when the gaunt woman comes hurrying around the corner. She waves at you with all the joy and excitement of a 6-year-old sharing her discovery of a dragon's egg with her best friend, something you never expected to see in her. The Magistrate looks in all directions as if checking for spies and then whispers conspiratorially, "I think you're right. I learned Brutum and Moonhair recently spent an unusual amount of time in the cellar. My sources saw the two disappear behind the crate at the intersection several times." You nod slowly, secretly doubting the mage has any sources. Who willingly speaks with her? Of course, willingly may have nothing to do with it. She is scary even when exhibiting childish glee, and people might answer her questions out of pure fear. A shiver runs down your spine, and you thank her for the information. She concludes by saying, "I cannot help you further, but I think that is for the best." Her features then resume her customary gruffness, and she quickly ducks inside her room, all pretense of sociability gone. However, as the door slams shut behind her, you think you hear her utter a quiet, "Good luck." So, I've already been to the cellar. I cannot go back. We know that there's nothing down there. But we do know that something is transpiring. I think our best bet is to let's go ahead and go to Teenan. I think we can go to Teenan one more time, then go to the dining hall, and then go back to Teenan, and that will literally do everything on this choice. So, or on this list of choices, and we should still have time left on our time tracker. So I'm gonna say let's go ahead and go talk to Magister Teenan, and see what 84 has to say. Does that work for everybody? What you doing over there, John? You working on stuff? He's giving me the eyebrows of secrecy. So let's go to 84. Even though your previous encounter with Magister Teenan was unproductive, you again seek his help. Where do you look this time? So I can either look for him in his room, look in the library, look in the dining hall, look where I found him last time, or if I change my mind about looking for the Magister now, return to section 100. So he was headed to the dining hall the last time, right? Okay, cool. We're gonna go to 69. You enter the dining hall, but it is empty. Disappointed, you turn to leave, but then you have a strange thought. You no longer expect to find Magister Teenan there because you just looked here. But since he always turns up where nobody expects to find him, he should walk into the dining hall shortly after you leave. You decide on an unusual tactic. You pour yourself a mug of water and take a seat in the middle of the dining hall. Now all you need is a little patience. 170. So I spend a unit of time. Oh, dang it. Spend a unit of time. Let's mark that off. Womp womp. Time crawls. You pour a second mug of water, then a third, and even scandalously drink from the water pitcher just to relieve the monotony. Then a new thought occurs to you. By expecting to find the Magister in the dining hall, you unintentionally made the dining hall the last place he would go. You change the conditions and therefore the expectations of your search. I am thinking about this entirely too much. Berating yourself for failing to solve a simple logic puzzle, you place your mug in the wash rack and leave the dining hall. Go to 84. Alright, so do we go to his room, go to the library, go to the gazebo, or give up? If I give up, I get to erase the mark. So he's still potentially, I'd still end up here eventually. So room, library, or gazebo. 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 Okay, cool. 207.
The library also. One for library.
Was there one for library in there?
Yeah, so maybe after this one.
After this, try library? Okay. As soon as you enter the courtyard, a realization hits you that makes you smile. Magister Horgan, popular with all his students for his caring nature, has always earned great respect for his wisdom and advice. While with other teachers, especially in the last few years of school, you like to ask what they are trying to convey, Magister Horgan's wisdom always seems unassailable. And at that moment, you realize that not wisdom, or as some say, the gift of clairvoyance, is the source of his advice, but shrewdness. Magister Horgan's advice to seek out Master Teenan where you cannot expect him can never be wrong. Once you have heard this advice, you always think about where the confused mage might be. Thanks to Magister Horgan's advice, however, you immediately reject this thesis and search in the most impossible places. If you do not find him there, you always explain this with the fact that you expected him there, and if you do find him, it's because you did not expect him there in the first place. The old mage is still sitting under the... That was a word salad that didn't click entirely with me, but it's again it's the whole Princess Bride thing, that if I put it in this cup, then I would give you this cup because you would assume that it's that whole tongue twister nonsense. The old man is senile and he walks places that don't make any sense. Just assume that it doesn't make sense. The old mage is still sitting under the gazebo in the courtyard and attentively watching the playful flight of a butterfly. For any other resident of the academy, one would have taken it for granted to search for them again, where you had last seen them. But thanks to Magister Horrigan's wisdom, you cannot do this with Magister Tiernan. Now that the mage is still sitting here, this seems to you to be the most unlikely case, and that it would have been more likely if the scatterbrain mage had just disappeared. See, I'm still talking about this, and it's just useless. As you approach the gazebo... what? Yeah, it's too much. As you approach the gazebo, you recall something you heard the Archmage say here in this courtyard when you first arrived at the school. Young students admire their professors and accept their teachings. Oh, the Archmage, this not Magister Tien. Young students admire their professors and accept their teachings, but old students tend to question and doubt. You will prove you are ready for your final exams when you can look past your professor's demeanor and acknowledge and honor their lifetime accomplishments. You certainly admire Magister Horrigan. Why am I still talking about him? I'm not here to talk to him. A popular, caring, and respected professor, but Magister Tienan is difficult to fathom. The often confused Magister shows no reaction when you sit down next to him. He stares at the butterfly, a boyish grin on his face. I can clear my throat to try to draw the Magister's attention, or I can comment on the butterfly's beauty. I would like to comment on the butterfly's beauty. I don't want to distract him. He's enjoying himself. Let the man have a moment. I mean, he just cried a little bit ago. So let's comment on the butterfly's beauty. 179. This is a beautiful butterfly, Magister Tien, you say, but the mage interrupts you with a harsh gesture. He looks angrily from the butterfly to you and back and snarls. Why are you interrupting me? Can you not see I am busy? The young always think they know what is best. That is your problem, Drudvik. You never learned respect. But if you try to calm, so I can try to calm him with gentle words, or I can, if I dare calm him using the spell Ben Baladin, even though such will be difficult, I can go to a different section. So, whoops. Made him mad anyway. So do I try to be gentle? Or do I try to enchant him? Enchant. Calm words. We know I can succeed at Ben Baladin. We have done it before. Calm words? Okay. Let's do that. 112. You worry about the old man. Anger seems to rule much of his life. Do his faulty memories hold him prisoner in a world of fear and uncertainty? You search your mind for the right words to say, but nothing comes, and you must rely on your intuition. Make an empathy check with a -4 penalty. If the check succeeds, I can move on, and if not, I go to a different place. So, empathy. Empathy is a big bad thing. Actually, I think I'm okay. So, but a -4, so that applies to everything, right? All three rolls?
Yeah. Unless it's specified as specific.
No, it just says empathy, and it's got sagacity, intelligence, and charisma with a -4 penalty.
Yep.
Alright, so it does say I have 4 points to use.
That's good.
So, sagacity, I need to get below an 11. I got a 14. Let's go ahead and do intelligence. We're still okay. For intelligence, I have to get below a 10. Okay, I got a 3. That's good. And then charisma is my other one. Charisma, I have to get below an 8. Oh, I got a 9. I can spend 4 and get right on the nose. Because I can drop 14, 3 to 11, and I can drop 9, 1, and that spends all 4 of my points. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to say we succeeded. If check succeeds, go to 93. The two of you sit in silence, watching the butterfly until it floats away on the breeze. Magister Tienan watches it go and then smiles at you. Thank you for sharing this moment. Few people take time from their lives to sit with an old man. Guilt tugs at your heart, and you open your mouth to speak, but the Magister continues. You did not come out here to talk about a butterfly. What brings you to me? You briefly explain your urgent need to find Magister Moonhair. Magister Tienan looks at you with a terrible sadness in his eyes. You know the state of my mind. I cannot trust my memories. I believe I saw Mela twice today, once in the dining hall and later near the stairs to the cellar. But I may be wrong. You hear desperation in the old Magister's voice, but nevertheless, you think his mind is sharper than it has been in years. You take his hand and thank him for his invaluable help. The worry in his features melts away and he beams at you, his face full of joy. As you turn to leave, the butterfly returns and briefly alights on the Magister's outstretched hand. Go to 100. Okay, so we know I can't go to the cellar. I can go to the dining hall one more time, though. So, I know we've been in there twice, but I'm running out of places to go. So, I'm going to say let's go back to the dining hall for the last time, and then we will go find him again. Those are the only two options I have left. And I still have 3 time units. So, let's go to the dining hall. Maybe I can find clues. The dining hall is empty. If I wait around for the maids, the young student, or even Magister Erillion to appear, I can go to section 166, and if I decide to look elsewhere, I can go to 100. So, say we wait, and then go back to Teenan. That's kind of where I am right now. I don't have a whole lot of other options, and I can't do anything until we waste all of our time. What's up?
Oh no, I'm looking at the adventure.
Okay, that's fine. So, again, the dining hall is unoccupied, except for a lone mouse. Gotta mark off these things. Alright. Curiously, the staff seem to have overlooked a small bowl of leftovers from breakfast. It contains 3 slices of sausage. If you wish, you may add this treasure to your inventory. You wait around for someone to come by, but nobody does. Tired of waiting, you decide to try another plan to find Magister Erillion. I don't... Do I want to keep the sausage? In case I run into something?
There was a thing with the cat at one point with that.
Oh, there was, but I can't go back to her.
Yeah.
I'm going to add the sausage to my list. Mm-mm-mm. 3 slices of sausage. Sausages? We talked about that last week too, didn't we? Right, back to 100 and to our last visit to Magister Teenan. 133. Nothing involving Magister Teenan is ever boring. Despite Magister Horgan's advice, you look for the old mage at the gazebo, but he's not there. Looking further will cost you time. If you continue searching, go to 162. I do continue searching. Spend a time unit. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm just going to go ahead and go to 111, whether or not I use that last unit of time or not, because I got nowhere else to go. You think about where you expect to find Magister Teenan, and briefly consider whether to search only that location, but you decide to look everywhere. You try the dining hall, the library, the courtyard, his room, anywhere he might be, but you find no trace of him. Magister Teenan is also missing. If you continue the search, go to section 72. Alright, this uses another... This uses my last time unit, so if something tells me to lose another one, done. You look everywhere, but to no avail. You feel precious time slipping by. Nearly an hour has passed since you started your search, and you decide to leave the old Magister alone and look elsewhere for clues. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to, if you cross off the last circle on the time tracker, go to 111. So that's where we're headed. You decide to stop at the dining hall to see if anything remained from dinner. Though in a hurry, you take your usual shortcut across the garden. Prios's disc hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows in the courtyard. Deep in thought, you fail to notice somebody approaching until they tap you on the shoulder. You turn around and catch only a glimpse of someone wearing a gray cloak and hood. A hand darts forward and touches your forehead, and you hear words spoken softly. Then your consciousness drifts away. You wake in your own bed shortly after sunrise. The previous day is a blur. You recall leaving your room to take your final exam, and you know you failed, but you cannot remember how. Puzzled but undeterred, you return to your studies and await the next chance to take the exam, more determined than ever to prove you are a great mage. The end. So what did I miss, I wonder?
I don't know. I'm going back through, and it has nothing to do with the cellar, even though everybody tried to get you to go to the cellar.
No, yeah, because we went to the cellar. So the end takes me back. When I clicked on the end, it takes me back to the beginning. There is something in here called the end, I thought. I thought there was an end at the very end. If so, this is I take back every nice thing I said about this adventure. There's so much more. There's like creatures and stuff that I could fight. Because I passed by a lot of like... Oh no, there isn't something called the end. It's called moving out. And then there's an epilogue. Interesting. I'm disappointed. What did I miss, I wonder? Should I have looked in Brudum's room?
I don't know.
I think I should have looked in his room. Because I could find a note in there. Well.
Yeah.
Huh. Just a second. Let's go back to 100. Surely there's something in here. Yeah, there's... So you can screw this up several times. So I've passed a few now that say the end, and they're not the same one that I had. So let me go to what's-his-face's room, Brudum. And let's... Since we know... Because we didn't know that we had the recovery vials. Just want to see if something more interesting could have happened. So go to 64. Let's try a Penetrazel real fast. This is what I do. If I don't like the way the ending is, we're gonna go back and we're gonna just see some things. Cause that is Crapola. How's that for a spell? Penetrazel. Okay, so to do Penetrazel, we're gonna hit this button. 192. School rules forbid students from using Penetrazel to gaze through walls into other people's rooms. Like many students, you obey the rules. Why would anyone in their right mind risk expulsion for something so puerile? Before today, you would never have considered risking expulsion to look inside Magister Brudum's room. However, special situations call for special actions. Besides, the risk of accidental discovery is lower now than ever before. You press your brow to the wall and recite the incantation. Penetrazel. So, Sagacity. So, 14 passes. Courage is a 6. That passes. And Intelligence. Oh. It's an 11. That passes. So, I passed. I mark 6 off. Check succeeds. Go to 15. You focus your mind on a tiny spot and your awareness begins to pierce the surface of the cool stone. The effort is tiring, but you look forward to discovering what lies beyond. The wall's resistance gives way and your mind breaks through. Subtract 6 AE from your total. Okay, so we're at 6. You would never expect that someone so universally disliked would enjoy hobbies or possess an eye for decor, yet the evidence is clear. Magister Brudum's chamber is furnished quite elegantly. You see a bed, some books, a wardrobe, and a small chest, all of which are probably common sights in any mage's quarters. You also see a gleaming marble table, a pair of tall, well-proportioned marble chairs, and displayed throughout the room, stones of many shapes and sizes, large and small, rough and polished, round and square, hewn and unshaped, and in tones ranging from lightest grays to deepest blacks. The arrangement is worthy of an art gallery. Only someone with a poet's soul could have curated such a beautiful collection. Strange as it seems, this is the first truly human trait you've observed in the Magister, and you now regret invading his privacy. Make a perception check, and if I succeed, I can... So, the room that I thought would be a waste of time to look inside actually had something I could do. So, frustrated a little bit. We're just going to keep going. To do a perception check, notice or search, it's sagacity, intelligence, and intelligence. So... Sagacity. Okay. Putting my dice where they belong. Sagacity is 15 or less. That's a 15 on the nose. First intelligence. Intelligence is to be 14 or less. That's an 8. That's a 10. We're good. If I succeed, go to 212. 212. Here's the note that I mentioned. Oh, John is leaving for a second, so I'm gonna mute him. Magister Brutum's room is tidy and neat. Nothing seems out of place. Though his art collection is beautiful, you see no portraits of loved ones, can find no signs that he has ever had any visitors. The room feels cold and dead as stone. Is this a clue to Magister Brutum's behavior? You always assumed he only pretended to be friendly to disguise a cruel thirst for power, but has he simply been desperate for acceptance? Is he lonely? You feel increasingly uneasy. You intruded too long. You allow your perception to flow back into your body. Then, right in front of your nose, so obvious that you didn't notice it first, you see a letter tucked beneath a stone. Part of the letter is obscured, but you can read it easily enough. Your mind races. What does it mean? Clearly Magister Brutum intended to hide that note beneath the stone, but why bother if nobody can enter the room? These questions play havoc with your concentration, and the spell matrix collapses. Come on. Ejecting your mind from the room and hurling your awareness back into your body. Overcome with nausea, you fall to your knees and retch. As it passes, you wipe your mouth with your sleeve, take a moment to shake the numbness out of your limbs, and climb back to your feet. Return to section 64. So the note says, Brutum, this is the part that I can see. Today after breakfast, something, we must act now. Signed, M. So that would be an indication to me that he and what's-her-face were doing something after breakfast. But that's all you can do there. So I really don't know what else I could have done to get me a different result. So that was that. Oh, John knows. Are you going to get back on the mic? Yeah, might as well. It's a singular act. Would have given me information. Let me unmute you when you put it back on.
Okay. Now, this is a spoiler.
Spoiler!
So, anybody who doesn't want to hear it, you might want to mute a moment. But
Spoiler.
the spoiler is that you needed to use, essentially you needed to use the spell that would have made you invisible and pickpocket the maid.
Oh.
She had a key ring. Now, here's where it gets messy. She has a key ring of about 10 keys. You can only take 3 from her. And one of those 3 keys needs to be the key that gets you into the cellar. And not specifically the cellar, but anyway.
Huh.
Yes.
Huh. That's stupid.
Well,
I mean, one. See, if you're gonna do, I appreciate what you tried here. I appreciate what they tried here.
I do.
I feel like if you're going to only give, and I honestly I felt like a lot of this was kind of handholdy railroad a little bit. Anyway, but to then only give one thing that you can do to ever move on, and to bury it. I mean, because.
So I'll say this.
Keep talking. I'm gonna go back because that's just.
I went and played it through really quick. Mm-hmm. But so this is one of the things that you and I are kind of discovering is that with some of these adventures, these very isolated one-player adventures, you know, that we're finding what we like and what we don't like. Mm-hmm. Chaosium's adventures, the one-player ones, are pretty well written. As far as giving, choices, not being too hand-holdy, the paragraphs aren't too long too often. But I'll say this about the ones that we played so far from the Dark Eye, which these are the only 2 they have, is the Conspiracy of Mages and the Vampire of Havana. And that is that the story, a lot of it has moments that are well written. It is beautiful and well laid out. But in both cases, I feel like I'm wondering if there was a translation issue. Like maybe this worked better in the original German, and when they translated it to English, they didn't, this didn't come through. But that's where I'm at on it. I still think that they're very beautiful adventures, and I like the game, and this has given me a great chance to learn the game. But, yeah.
So, no, I was trying to... It's not even that. Or what? It doesn't give me the option to use the invisible spell with that maid.
Really?
At Magister Moonhairs?
Well, there's a... But you're getting a key ring from her.
No.
No.
I don't...
Well, there's somewhere I found that.
Yeah, I don't even get to where you are. So the only option that I had when going to Magister Moonhair's room was I could wait, and I did, and we waited for the maid, Colvina, and then it let me... It gave me the options. Let me get back there. I don't remember what entry it was now. So Magister Moonhair's room was 164, I think. No, I hate the wrong. Sometimes these clicks are so small. Magister Moonhair's room is 197. 197. I found her room. Go to 118, which I did. I can wait, knock on her door, peer through the keyhole, or gaze through the wall. So what we did was we waited. Then, when I finally tire of waiting, a maid named Colwina trundles down the hall with her cleaning equipment. And it does say that she has a key.
Yeah.
So I can say, and so as what I said was, I wish to speak with Magister Moonhair, which took me to section 11. See, I wonder if I had to make a different choice. So let's remember this. 205, right? If I go to 11, which is where I went before, says she's not here, she wants me to clean her room. Colwina has a key to the door. I can ask her to admit me to the room, or I can try magic instead of persuasion, which is what I tried to do. And that was where, and that's 53, which says, I ponder which spell to cast. I could have caught blinding pain, but I chose, but that says I wouldn't do that. Befriend her with the one that I did. I could throw caution to the wind and turn her into a piglet, or cast paralysis on her.
Huh.
Those are the only options there. So my thinking is, however, that maybe if I walk on by and I don't tell her that I'm cancel, and I don't tell her what I'm doing. What did I say? 205. That maybe I could come back and use invisible spell to do something. So let's see. 205. Me? Well, I just happen to be walking by. 83. Magistra's not here. Move along. She wants me to clean her door. Well, that gives me the same things. So let me just see if she'll let me in. 32. Trying to sound as friendly as possible, my dear Colvina, I must look inside the Magister's room for a moment. I can do a fast talk. That takes me here. And then I can try to cast a spell in 53. And nope.
Right.
I don't know. It must not be her. It must be a different maid. Which we've seen a couple. I don't know. But I don't like what they did. I don't like how this ended. It's a little frustrating as someone who spent, what, almost 4.5 hours playing this adventure to end like that. When I know that there are combat encounters, I know that there are all kinds of things that could have happened, and none of those things happened, and I went to every location that it allowed me to go. As many times as it said I could go. Now, of course, I didn't make all my rolls. But
oh, okay.
I had the option the first time we dealt with her to go invisible. See, I don't see that here. That's what's interesting.
Okay. The weird choice that I found is actually. Do y'all want me to say? I mean,
I don't mind.
Okay, so entry number 67.
Okay.
Is kind of
I
where
wish it told me where that came from.
I wish
it had a trace back.
So as well.
You slip into one of the classrooms and shut the door to avoid being seen while you undress. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't have the option to go invisible. I went through my spells because I didn't know that it was going to give me all those options. So I went through the spells that I could possibly use. And we talked about naked time and all that stuff because it wouldn't... so, yeah, at some point I can turn myself invisible, which is the picture of my character naked with the butt quite pristinely drawn here. But I don't know how we got there. I don't know how we would have gotten
91 there. Takes you to 67.
Page 90,
entry
91. But yeah, so I had went through all the spells, and I was like, well, these are things we could do. And then I turned to the entry, and it was like, here's your 4 options that you get.
It's about trying to sneak into the teacher's lounge.
Oh. I didn't even have an option. Oh, did I have an option to do that?
No, because you asked if anyone was there, and the door said,
that's right. It's a no. Well, that was that adventure, y'all. So, thank you for bearing with me and for joining me on this journey, even though it was a little disappointing. If you want to stick around for a minute, we got about 9 minutes left. I have something completely not Tomes of Isolation-y to do on camera. If you want to leave, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is Tomes of Isolation. This is our weekly show where we, myself or my husband John, or we'd love to have somebody else if somebody else wants to log in and Zoom in, because we are in isolation. If somebody wants to Zoom and join us for a night, we'll send you the adventure, and we'll pipe you right into the feed. We would love to have somebody else do a Tome of Isolation. And this will go on at least until quarantine ends. Of course, we live in Texas, so we're not on an official quarantine, but we are imposing our own little quarantine. I stay at home. John does still have to work, but we take our precautions, and no one is coming to the house. So please join us again next week at 7 p.m. If you want to hang out for a second, I got, as some of you know, I work at a game store, and one of my favorite games that I play is a game. It's a card game called Keyforge, and it is my. I don't play Magic the Gathering. I don't play any of the Japanese card games. I know how to. I just they don't do anything for me. I play Keyforge, and this new set released in America last Friday. Our shop did not get them in until today, so John went by and, well, his work is in the same building as mine. He went by and grabbed some decks for me. So I have 4 new Keyforge decks that I'm going to open up here and look at while I'm on camera, because why not? Because we do all kinds of tabletop stuff here. Like I said, if this has no interest to you, good night. I thank you again for joining me. We will see you next week, whether I come back to do more of Alone Against the Dark, which is the Call of Cthulhu adventure, or if John wants to hop in and do something else, or if somebody else wants to hop in and do something else. 1 week from tonight at 7 p.m. Central. Please join us. We love to have you, and we appreciate your input and your patronage. Again, we are a channel that is run solely by us. We have no backing. It's just we do it, we have the equipment, and we wanted to share some games with some people and have a good time. So I invite you to join us.
Now that said, since you're opening up the boxes, I'll go ahead and do some talking.
Uh-oh, John's going to talk, so I'm going to turn him up.
So this game that you are opening, Keyforge, is by the original creator of Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
But
and
it has
game designer extraordinaire. He's done everything from King of Tokyo is his. He's done a lot of games. I believe Bunny Kingdom is his too.
Yes, Bunny Kingdom is. Now Keyforge is kind of a more futuristic, spacey thing. It's not about casting magic, really. But well, they're
futuristic, spacey, kind of. Yeah, I get that. I see where you're going.
But the players themselves are almost these deity-esque things, controlling or summoning things to fight.
Yeah. So in the lore, and I may misspeak because I am a fan of the card game. We do own. It just got an RPG setting book. Here's one of the paper playmats that comes with the starter set. I always get a copy of the 2-player starter set, even though I know how to play. But yeah, in the lore, you play. Your deck has an Archon name. This is your Archon, and they are in this magical place. It's not magical, but it's it's this building called, or I don't even know, it's some installation called the Crucible, in which there's an arena. And imagine something kind of like Hunger Games, where there's kind of like an arena where things happen. There is a city called Hub City, where most of the people that live in the Crucible, that's kind of like their metropolis area. And then, of course, the Archons are the guys that run these teams of creatures, which essentially compose your deck. And then there's someone higher up called the Architect, and I believe that we are the Architects. I believe in the lore that would be, as players, that would be our title. I could be wrong, though.
Now, the neat thing with this game is that there is no card collecting. For a battle card style game from the guy that created Magic the Gathering.
This isn't a deck builder.
Yeah. You buy the deck.
Or trading card game, really.
Yeah. You straight up buy the deck. And what you get is what you get. And so every deck that is produced is different. It has a different name, it has different titles, and this has randomly selected cards, and it tells you what randomly selected cards there are. And so there are millions of decks out there. You know, millions of variety.
Billions, I think, is what we're up to now. It doesn't say on here, but I know with like the first one it was like 32 billion possible, because it's all randomly generated by an algorithm. And so this is the new set that just came out called Mass Mutation. This is the 4th set. The first one was called Call of the Archons. Second one was Age of Ascension. Third one was called Worlds Collide, which is my personal favorite because it brought in like Roman dinosaurs, which is pretty awesome. And this one is called Mass Mutation, and it looks pretty neat, y'all. Not gonna lie.
What are your deck names?
So yeah, so the deck names, as he was talking about, all the things that are randomized. Not only is the cards randomized, each deck includes 3 houses, 12 cards from each house. There are a total of 9 houses, I think. Some went away, some came back.
They're all still in play.
They're all still in play, yeah. They're all still valid. In fact, I've got 2 Sanctum decks, and Sanctum had gone away in the last one. So the names are all completely randomized. The artwork for the Archon is completely randomized. Like each of these little parts can be brought. So you'll see similar parts, but they put them together in different ways. So you can kind of see how. In fact, I may turn on my inset camera, and you can kind of see one of them there. How that might look versus, say, that one versus this one, and then this one. But yeah, so my names that I'm getting are Sire Vicespor, the Bookish Bard, Gale, Commander Phalanx Shumples, Scarlet E. Lost Shark the Third, and Tintascar Ilbird Moore Officer. So all of these names are randomized and everything. So it's Goofy Town. But all of my decks do have mutated cards, which is a new thing this year. So I'm kind of excited to see these. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to what's been going on in the world of Keyforge coming up to this, because I was just waiting for it to show up. But this is pretty cool. But yeah, I won't bore you with all of it. I will show you some of these. Do I have dinos? Yeah. I'll show you some of my favorites if I have some. If I have some of my favorites. This one has somebody called a Dino Beast, though. So my favorite house is called Untamed, and it's like the druidy people. They're all big, gnarly creatures. So this is a Dino Beast. Oh, he's upside down. I forgot that I set this camera up to be like mine, or to look like my view. So that's a cool Dino Beast. He doesn't look like a dinosaur, though. He looks like a werewolf. Am I wrong? He's cool looking, though. I like him. I like him a lot. I may exalt Dino Beast. Oh, I will. So, yeah, none of this makes sense probably to most of you, but there's another card. That's too close. Mutation of Instinct. But let me see if I've got any of the good dinos.
Oh, you got another deck of the dinos?
That was an untamed creature. I've only got one deck of dinosaurs.
Okay.
Bless you, animal. And then I'll leave you guys.
Are there any disc decks?
Oh, Sean, you're here. Remind me, I need to text you.
Yeah, Sean.
I do have a disc deck.
I will say Sean is not feeling great tonight, so hopefully he's available.
Oh,
but
sorry. Well, he just popped in and said he wanted to play real bad now. Sire Vispor is a Saurian deck, which is the dinosaurs. Ooh, what is that thing? Ooh, I got some new Star Alliance cards, too. Star Alliance is also pretty cool because it's like retro-futuristic, kind of like Federation, Star Trek-y kind of stuff. And it's got some really cool little guys in it. But let me find you a dinosaur. And actually, Keyforge has one of the few elf races that I like. They have it's House Shadows, and they're all these little like dark elves, and they're pretty cool. So there's Xenosaurus. I've got 3 of them. Interesting. Tertiate, Humble, Hedonistic Intent, City-State Interest. Oh, do I not have any of my... It doesn't even have any of my favorite Saurians in it. It's a lot of actions and stuff, so I won't bore you with all that. I wanted to show you. I think it's Philophosaurus. He's a philosophizing dinosaur, but he's pretty cool. But anyway, so I'm excited that I got four new decks of Keyforge to play, and if you've never played it, I highly recommend playing it if you like card games and you don't want to spend a ton of money on time creating decks and find deck building intimidating like I do. So this is my game. But again, I thank you all for coming out, and we will see you Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, and what is that, 4 p.m. Pacific. For Illuminated Page, we have Season 2, Episode 2 will be going live that night. Come and watch us go insane in Sydney. I think we're in Australia right now. So thank you all for coming. Enjoy your evening, and hopefully the next time we meet for Tomes of Isolation, we will have an adventure that keeps us excited and maybe pays off in the end. So have a good night, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.